Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. I'm Fletch, and I'm going to be playing my awful little detective child, Camille. And joining me is a very good and very talented friend.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm playing Lorem, and I don't know what to do with that compliment. Thank you. You are also very good and talented.
Thank you. I have the habit of slipping in compliments during intros. It's fun.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no. All
Alright.
right.
So it's probably a pretty nice day in Villestown to start us off. Uh but the problem is this is Villestown. Lore, how you doing?
He doesn't know where he is, and he is very lost. He has been staring at a map for a while. Is it helping? We don't know.
Question. Did he pull out a map for Toontown or did he
I
pull
think
out a
he
map for
found one on
Villestown or does he still think he's in Toontown?
he still thinks he's in Toontown. He does not know the difference.
Oh my gosh.
He is very lost. He has no idea where he is.
Oh, that is wonderful. Um
Yeah. I think he's looking at something on the wall, thinking it's a map.
Oh,
He does not know.
yeah, you're looking at a very interesting squiggle of graffiti going like, "Oh, how nice. They put maps on walls here." Uh it
He
is
really
not a
should
map.
know what maps look like. And
He
he
really
just
should.
doesn't right now.
It's fine. Everything's already so weird in Einquell. They might as well have weird squiggly maps on the walls.
Yeah.
There's already non-Euclidean geometry everywhere you see, so it's this might as well happen, you know?
Yeah, sometimes he has to double check that he's not dreaming.
Yeah, it's fine. He's just a humble, real kind boy.
Yeah.
Um,
So, you're like in some sort of cafe or something, right?
yeah, like it's a nice day. It's a very good day just for chilling or wandering around and Camille has once again tried to obtain coffee. Probably didn't work out because he is still 6 and most people have the sense not to give 6-year-olds coffee. Um, and he has been staring at this man for like the better part of an hour now. Just yeah,
This man has not moved. He's just keeps trying to. Oh no, he keeps trying to decipher this quote unquote map.
yeah, he's just yeah, so eventually Camille decides, okay, I have nothing better to do. This guy is obviously not he obviously is in need of help. So so he's just gonna slip out and approach this guy.
What does he do as he approaches this guy? Because he does not notice.
uh, I think he's gonna walk on up, um, look between Lore, look back at the wall, uh, and after a minute, just go, do you need help?
Laura's immediately going to be startled and just be like, "Oh, look back at the wall and like sweat nervously, uh, and then realize this might be a child, but he's been in Einquell Toontown area for long enough that he doesn't know anymore. So he's just like, maybe I have no idea where I am or where I need to go or anything. like that. This man looks very stressed. Also, it is very obvious that even though he is very tall, he is not that old.
Yeah. Yeah, it's thankfully a little bit easier to tell the age of a real kind person.
Yes, it is.
Camille's just gonna uh it's just gonna do a quick insight on this guy. Uh
Go for it. Me pulls up other notes.
uh
What are you like? Are you looking for anything specific or
he's kind of just in the habit of doing an insight check on people when he first meets them.
that makes sense?
He totally does not have paranoia. This is just regular detective things, and that is
I mean,
unfortunately a 29.
oh my gosh, are you serious? What the?
Okay, he's
Okay.
his modifier is a +10 because he's a shitty little rogue with expertise and insight.
Me like I should have made my DCs higher potentially.
I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
you're fine. One moment. Cool. I was double checking with my collab partner, like he found out. Anyway,
uh,
so as you're looking up this real kind, you notice that he's definitely probably around 18, like barely an adult. He is very tall. He's 6'5", 6'6". Um, he's wearing his hat. He's got like some sort of jacket and flowery thing going on, shorts and like flats for some reason. It looks like he did his best to get dressed and wasn't really sure how, but it kind of works. Like close enough. Um,
yeah.
he has some sort of like backpack, and he obviously is distressed. um, you also notice that like while you are 100% sure he is like a complete just average human, his eyes should not be that color. They are an unnatural hue of purple.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and you're just like, well, that doesn't happen usually. So that's what you see first. I can tell you more, but would you like to ask some questions first?
Yeah, uh, yeah, he's gonna casually make a mental note of all that. Uh,
I can roll insight too really quick on you.
yeah, sure. You can roll insight and also investigation. That is a 20. uh, okay, is that your insight?
That is my insight.
Okay. With a dirty 20 insight, you can tell that, yeah, this is probably a kid, like, even if you're not too sure about, like, even if you're not too sure about, how tunes work, like, the body language and just general way that he carries himself is very much childlike.
To
Uh,
kind of add to that, just like lore, like this is a child.
yeah, not to mention the fact that unlike Lore, who is 6'5", 6'6", Camille is 2'8". He's very
Oh my gosh,
small. He is
I think
like he
I think
doesn't
we still
even
had that
reach your
height
waist.
reference. Yeah, he's like the height of my leg.
Yeah, like he does not reach your waist even. He's very small. Uh and yeah, he with that dirty 20, he definitely seems to be a bit on edge and wary of you, but for the most part is concerned in a is this guy okay sort of way.
Laura immediately sees that this kid is nervous and like is like, "Oh, and like crouches down to be like more eye level-ish, despite the fact being still kind of taller, even
Yeah.
while crouched. And he's just like, "Ah, sorry. You seem a little nervous. I'm just don't worry about it. Uh, what's your name?"
Yes, you've triggered the catchphrase.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, uh, he he is still half tuned, so he's legally obligated to introduce himself this way if someone asks.
What? Oh my gosh.
uh,
I love it.
he just smiles at you like Camille Christie, detective, or detective's apprentice.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Um, how did you get to be a detective slash detective's a princess? That's kind of a personal question. You don't have to answer that. I'm sorry. It's been a long time in general. He like looks at the ground like with this long stare.
Camille just tilts his head like, uh, you okay?
Well, Lord like thinks for a minute and with your insight, can you roll oh, what is it? Me being like, I gotta get the thing.
I
I have
believe
too
in
many
you.
tabs open. Thank you for believing in me. I need it. Okay. What do you think, uh, what kind of save do you think would be for, not getting afraid?
Usually, it's a whiz save to not get spooked.
Okay. Roll a whiz save. You wanna beat, let's say, maybe a 12?
Alright.
Or
Oh, he's
what do you
not
think?
beating that.
Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. So despite the fact that this guy is not being intimidating at all and trying really, hard, like you can tell he's trying really hard not to be intimidating or anything. For whatever reason, as he's staring and you look into his eyes, you just are overcome with this dread and fear that's not necessarily attached to the guy, but just in general. Like anxiety shoots up. You're just like, what the flip? Because like this guy looks harmless, but suddenly you're terrified.
He's fine. He's fine. Don't worry about it. Uh, that was a deception to see how well he plays this off, cause yeah,
That is a very good deception.
yeah, he's got Camille's awful little expertises are in deception, insight, investigation, and perception.
I'm rolling insight.
He's
Yeah, no, Lore has
no,
no idea.
yeah, you don't know that you spooked this kid. This kid, uh, he's doing, he's doing just fine. He's fine.
Mhm.
It's all good. Uh,
There's reasons for this. Don't worry.
yeah, no, he is certainly making a mental note of that, but he's not about to show that he is spooked. It's fine.
Yeah. For backstory reasons, is it okay to roll with advantage?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check because, like,
If you want me to, I
yeah.
can also roll with disadvantage because uh,
You can if you want to.
because I don't. Yeah,
Oh,
you got
never
a
mind.
nat 20, and even with that, you're not beating a 23. So yeah, there we go.
Oh, so Laura like immediately closes his eyes and he's like, "Sorry." uh, whew. And like when he opens them again, that fear just goes away, and he's like, "You're good? You good? You seemed you good?"
Yeah, he seems a little bit more tense and strained, but to the average passerby, he's it's not noticeable to the average passerby. He's doing a pretty good job of hiding it. You just know what to look for. Uh, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm fine. What was all that?"
Laura kind of like fidgets with his hat and takes it off and looks around nervously and then tries to figure out if he should tell a child. And he's like, um, first off, uh, I know you're a detective, but you're still a kid, and I'm not necessarily afraid to tell you, but like, are your guardians or parents gonna get upset with you for talking to a stranger?
Oh, no, I. Oh, don't worry. I know stranger danger and all that.
Okay, well,
I've.
that's something.
Yeah. I
Lore
look
kind of
away
looks
from the
around.
gallery. I look
Does he
away.
know stranger danger? Because from what I know, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
it's fine. He's just. I know how to handle myself.
Okay, so Lori looks around again and sees the cafe area, and he's like, I mean, if you want, we could maybe go sit down because this is gonna maybe take a while, and you seem like somebody who is not gonna let it go.
Detectives don't usually let things go, no? Um,
Well, it's not just the fact that you're a kid. You did say you were a detective, and if I know anything about detectives from books or anything, they don't let things go. He
nope.
kind of smiles.
Camille smiles back, and yeah, he starts heading over to the back to the cafe.
Um, Lord follows, kind of like obviously like looks both ways on the street and everything. Like this is a very tall man, and he's still like following kid rules.
Oh,
And like he's already like nervous about you. Like, did you look both ways, like kid? like just in his expression. He
I
kind of
will
holds the
say
door
Camille
open for you
does
and
use,
everything.
unlike what previous FPSs might lead you to think, Camille does generally practice street safety.
Okay, that's good to know. Lore kind of looks around and takes a booth and fidgets nervously because he's hanging out with a kid and he doesn't know how to feel about that, but he also needs friends. So,
uh, Camille's gonna look over at Lore before the waiter comes by, like, I don't suppose you could order me a coffee?
oh, he looks a little dubious and then he sighs and he's like, you know what, fine. uh, he looks at the waiter like, crap, did they hear that? And just like, uh, can I have a coffee and like a water with lemon?
Yeah.
Lore obviously is like somebody who's like you assume from that he does not have a lot of money.
Oh, it's fine. Uh, yeah, no, it's fine. Camille will offer to cover the tab, 'cause
Oh, are you sure? I do have enough for the coffee.
no, it's all right. It's my coffee anyways.
I mean, okay. Lore kind of fidgets again and then sighs and he's like, um, so you wanted to know about the eye thing. When I was younger, there was an accident at uh my family's business and it kind of messed with my eyes, and now if I'm not careful, it kind of freaks people out.
Camille tilts his head.
Um, oh, sorry, you speak.
No, no, you can go on.
Well, I'm just trying to like you did get a really high roll earlier, so I'm just like, oh shoot, I guess I should say this part.
Yeah, I can
Um,
always re-roll for stuff too.
well, this is like more obvious, and I put the DC pretty low for this one,
All
I
right.
think. Yes, because I only put it at a 15.
Okay. I look over
So,
at Camille's disgusting passive perception and apologize.
what is his passive?
His passive perception is 20.
Oh, yeah, no, he definitely knows this then. When was the last time you saw Sammy?
Uh, Technically, he hasn't seen uh too much of Sammy since that time they met via getting kidnapped.
Awesome. Do you remember seeing Sammy afraid?
Um, hmm. I look
Let me
over
just say
at
from
Mira.
Mira, it's yes.
Okay.
You notice that Laura's eyes are the exact same color as Sammy's fear shading.
Oh, that's fun.
Like,
Camille's,
exact color.
Camille's very much squinting at that mentally. Uh,
Laura has no idea.
yeah,
He just
no.
like raises an eyebrow like, "What? Did I you good?"
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
lying, I can assure you.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. I'm usually pretty good at telling when someone lies. And
Uh, well, that's good to know because hopefully, no, I'm not. I don't especially don't like, lying to kids. He kind of laughs and smiles again, and you can kinda tell that, like, he probably has some experience with kids. Maybe not kids like you, but kids.
yeah. And Camille nods at that, like, yeah, d- don't worry, I'm pretty good at telling that. I look over at his a fun little facet of being an inquisitive rogue. You want more deets on Camille's disgusting stats?
Sure, I would love to know more about Camille's
Um,
disgusting stat.
if he rolls an insight to determine whether a creature is lying, he can treat a roll as of 7 or lower as an 8, which means the absolute minimum he can get for insight when someone is lying to him is 18.
Oh my goodness.
So he is pretty good at that, yeah.
Lore's passive perception is 10.
Oh, Lord, beloved.
His passive intelligence is a 12, and his passive wisdom is, again, a 10.
It's fine. It's fine. He is a normal person. Camille is not.
Well, he's really strong, except I roll like crap, so
Valid. Um, but yeah, so yeah, Camille's it's fine. He does pull out that was a hammer space roll. He pulls out his little notebook and starts jotting some stuff down.
Lore's eyes go wide, like, where the flip did that come from?
Camille looks up at you questioningly.
He's like, "I still don't understand Toon stuff.
Oh,
I'm not super, uh I didn't necessarily grow up around magic, so this is all kind of, new for me."
oh, where are you from?
He kind of looks nervous for a minute and then, like, laughs nervously, and he's like, "Well, that's kind of a funny story. I'm from a small town, and when I say small, there's less than 50 people. It's called Ordinal Point, but nobody really knows it, and it's kinda hard to find on maps, at least if I'm with you." He kind of laughs nervously again, and you start to think with the here, can you roll, like, perception or investigation or something again?
Sure. Both of those
It's
are the
probably gonna be
same horrible
stupid.
modifiers, so
Yeah, I'm just trying to be like, "Yeah."
it's fine.
Never mind.
Judging from his history, he probably does not know what ordinal point is. So,
Oh no, nobody knows what
yeah,
ordinal point is.
yeah, so no, it's fine. You can nerf him
It,
at any time with a history roll.
yeah, no, the roll history.
Okay.
That's the one thing Lord does kind of have is history. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's not horrible. So you kind of remember there, you don't remember specifically where, but you do remember that somewhere there was kind of a project for settling more remote areas, and you think maybe Ordinal Point might have been one of those, but it was just like it's fairly recent. It's like less than 30 years old, the settlement.
Mhm.
And but you don't really remember any other specifics. It's just something that you might like accidentally came across that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. So he jots that down with a question mark.
Laura's just like, do you take notes on all the people you meet?
Um, generally speaking, yeah. I,
Huh,
uh, I don't like to forget things.
that's that's fair. I'm not great at that. I try. Laura kind of smiles and he's like, you start to get the inkling that maybe the fact that this man's lost isn't just incompetence.
Yeah, that is fair. Uh, yeah, so how would he bring that up? Hmm. So he's just he's gonna go a little bit indirect first, because there is still some other information he wants, as he's
Mhm. You can roll for Arcana if you want.
that is another one of his horrible little proficiencies.
I figured. Like, "Mwah. Mother, dang it.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm like
He at
setting
least
like
doesn't
CPs
have
in my head and I'm like, oh.
expertise.
Yeah, you get the feeling, do you want to ask a few questions first?
Yeah, he's probably gonna first go like, "Are you new to Inkwell?"
Oh, Lord looks around and he's like, yeah, definitely you could say that. I, he kind of looks down, embarrassed. He's like, before now, I never left my hometown,
Yeah, you.
which he just said was under 50 people.
Yeah, you did say that. You don't know tunes too well.
No, I do not. He kind of again laughs nervously and he's like, I mean, everybody's lovely. They're really nice. I just, I, I'm more used to what everybody calls real kind, I think. So it's just different. It's not bad. Uh, I'm just a lot of new things have happened recently.
Yeah. Camille nods like, yeah, going from a real kind country to Inkwell can be a pretty big culture shock.
Lore nods. He's like, again, everybody's really nice. So is that man in the box, despite hmm things. But yeah, everybody's been nice.
Camille perks up at that, like, man in the box?
Oh yeah, just Lord just kind of shrugs. Like there was when I first got here, I met somebody who lived in like a I don't know if this is common or not, but it's like a box, but it's bigger on the inside. I don't know.
Uh, Man, do I roll history for Camille to see if he recognizes it as the professor?
Yeah, sure.
Because he
I
did
mean,
meet the
hopefully it's
professor, but
not
he
hard.
didn't go into the ellipsis. Oh, okay.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm guessing you remember. You have that notebook. I can just see you like flipping through it like,
Yeah, he, you see him flip back a few pages before he's like, "Oh, did you meet the professor?"
Oh, you know him?
Oh, yeah, I met him once.
Oh, well, that makes that a little easier. Yeah, I met him and some of his friends. I think it was a satyr guy named Seeker and a flame tune named Amber and a box. They were nice.
Camille nods at that and also makes notes. uh, I guess he
Or
knows
looks
about those
nervous.
characters now.
Or just looks nervous at the notebook, like, am I gonna, did I do something wrong? Like, just that face, he doesn't say it, but he's just like, hmm.
I'm sorry, Lord, he just does this.
Yeah, he's just in a country where he doesn't know the laws.
uh, Camille at some point does look up like, you alright?
Uh, I mean, he, like, takes a long moment to think, and his, like, face grows more concerned as he does. Uh, technically? Yeah.
Technically?
I mean, I didn't necessarily want to pour out my life story to a child, but I mean, I got nothing else going on. So I guess I'll just answer whatever questions you have, but at the same time, how are you doing, kid with coffee?
uh, let's see, how is he doing? Oh, he actually for once can handle coffee. It's fine.
Do they bring the coffee yet?
Probably at some point, but it's fine.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah, just imagining me seeing Laura watch this kid with this giant coffee and him just being like, "What have I done?"
it's fine. Uh, it, it's just, oh, I've been doing pretty alright. Why do you ask?
I mean, why not?
He's not used to this being turned back around on him.
Bum,
uh,
bum, bum.
he seems like a little bit, he doesn't know how to respond to that.
Laura looks very suspicious.
You can roll insight if you want to.
Oh no. Okay. The dangers of insight. I should just copy paste this at this point.
Yeah, welcome to Toonkind at 12
Yeah,
FPS,
no.
baby.
That's not gonna do a thing.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he doesn't really know how to respond to that. But also, if you want to, you can roll an investigation.
Okay, I think my investigation and my insight are the same. Double check. That's the wrong tab. Okay, investigation and oh, I accidentally rolled wrong for insight, but it doesn't matter because it was crappy anyway.
I pat you.
Oh, that's a little bit better in theory.
Oh, unfortunately, not enough to see through his disguise, but one day, perhaps.
One day. However, lore is still lore, and he's gonna be like, that's a long pause, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. He's just like, oh, well, usually I'm the one asking questions. And he kind
Lore
of,
looks so concerned.
yeah, he kind of raises his little notebook as if to show.
Yeah, I can see that you like asking questions, but legit, like, do you have anybody to check in on you?
Yeah, of course.
Laura looks hesitant.
Well, I am only an apprentice detective, so that does mean that I have to check in with someone. Uh,
True. I just, it, how old are you?
Camille just smiles at you like, I'm 6.
Laura looks devastated and kind of looks at the coffee like, oh.
You want to swipe it?
Uh, he's gonna slowly reach across and just like slowly pull it away and then grab his water, chug it, and then give Camille just like a tiny bit.
Camille's just like, hey!
You're 6, man.
Oh.
I mean, I'll let you drink the coffee, just like maybe not all at once.
He's
I
totally
mean, I
not
guess you're
pouting.
paying for it. That's a lie. Laura looks so guilty, and he's like head desk on the table, like conflicted about what to do. I'm just gonna do a quick roll for him. Like,
Oh boy. I guess we're not making the smart decisions today.
Laura just looks like, I mean, he's paying for it. And it's like, he probably doesn't drink this all the time, right? Like, does he just go out, find adults, and get them to order him coffee?
Uh,
He
I,
doesn't say that. He just like looks like it as he like very looking disappointed in himself slides the coffee back over to Camille.
Camille swipes the coffee. He's
Laura's like, yeah, I figured.
just like, I can. It's not like I'm able to drink it often, so if that helps.
It does help. Laura's just like resting his chin on the table now, but he's like obviously very bent over to do so.
uh,
Toontown isn't necessarily made for taller people, I guess.
yeah, it's it's fine. Um, uh, Camille is looking for a change of subject. So it's just like, so how did you meet the professor?
Laura raises an eyebrow and first is like, did you actually answer my question?
Uh, and that was,
How are you? Buddy, are you okay? If you don't know how to like answer if you're okay?
oh, no, I'm fine.
Laura looks dubious, like he's like, you're 6. 6-year-olds aren't fine.
He was just like,
Laura keeps
really?
looking at him. Just like, how about a deal? You answer me honestly, and I'll answer you honestly.
Mm,
I'll tell you anything.
mm,
He's trying to appeal to his curiosity.
uh,
I'll get you another coffee.
Camille, gives you a very innocent smile, like, sure.
Hmm, I don't trust that smile. Laura says just outright, just
It's,
like,
it's
now that I know
fine.
your age, Ah, hmm.
And I'm so sorry for his horrible little deception modifier.
Yeah, Laura's also just like, you can tell me not to do this, but Laura's like, this is like just you and me. He has a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
A lot of siblings. And so he's just like, no, tis a baby.
And Camille frowns a little after that, like, well, if you weren't gonna believe that I would take the deal, then why even offer it?
There's always a chance. I'm sure you've tried something similar.
Camille looks away.
Yep. Laura's literally like, yep. I have plenty of siblings. One of them is around your age, and she is a little deceptive bugger.
Camille snorts at that.
Mm-hmm. Laura's just like smiling and nodding with his eyes closed, still like resting on the table. Just like, so even if you're trying to hide something, I'm probably gonna be a little bit skeptical. He smiles.
Well, you can't blame a kid for trying.
Nope, definitely can't. I mean, he like snorts and he's like, I'm still basically a kid.
Oh, uh, hmm. Let's see, are you gonna choose violence?
Good luck with that.
Okay, he rolled enough to not choose violence. So
Oh
he
no.
just hums and nods instead.
Laura like raises another eyebrow and is like, the child is not using words. Just in his brain. And he's like, so are you gonna actually answer? I mean, if you're a detective, I'm assuming you've seen some not great things and you're a child. So, I mean, if you want to vent to a stranger, I mean, I'm not gonna tell anybody you know.
Camille just shrugs like, well, sure, but I'm used to them, so it's not like it actually bothers me.
Laura just has a deadpan look of, hmm,
I mean,
I'll drop it if you really want me to, but
you can roll insight on him if you want.
I can't. Insight, I think, yeah, it's just a d20. Yeah, he's like, okay, if you say so.
Yeah, he does seem to genuinely not be too bothered by the stuff he sees, but also he did not disagree that the stuff was messed up. Um,
Laura
he has
just kind
also
of,
not told you what he's seen.
yeah, Laura just kind of props up his head on his like fist and just kind of casually like sighs and closes his eyes. Have you ever read detective novels? Just like taps his chin.
Camille perks up at that, like, oh yeah, I have a lot of them actually. Uh,
Oh, that's great. What are your favorite ones?
okay, let's roll to see how long this info dump is going. Oh god, that's a 20. This info dump is gonna go on for a real long time.
Go for it.
Um, I personally have not read as many mystery novels as Camille has. Uh, you could say
Well,
that the number of mystery novels that I have read is closer to 0 than it is to the amount that Camille has read, which is many. Um,
I
so
can help you info dump if you need.
I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but he you are
What
subjected to
genre of like mystery and detective type novels does he
uh
read?
mostly murder mysteries. His
Mm-hmm.
favorite the one that he talks about the most, which seems to be his favorite, is the Herlock Sholmes books.
Laura raises an eyebrow, like, oh, like both of his, and he's just like looks really happy, like, oh, I love those. Yeah, my dad worked on some of those. Well, he kind of looks a little sheepish. Parents, uh, they worked on those. I grew up with a lot of books.
Yeah, yeah, Camille seems very excited about that. Like, wait, they really worked on it?
Oh, I guess I didn't mention. My family are printers. We print books.
Oh, and he's just a little bit
Oh,
starry-eyed about the idea of growing up surrounded by that many books.
Lore, let's see, one second. Let's see. Oh, I think I rolled that wrong. See. That is not a thing. There we go. Yep. Laura's kind of like also starry-eyed and just not physically starry-eyed, but just like obviously excited, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so my some of my parents are also cartographers. And oh my gosh, it's really fun to see the maps that they make, especially when they always made it so that I could actually tell what the keys were, and he looks really frustrated.
And Camille blinks at that, like, oh, is there a problem with most maps here?
Oh, Lord just kind of laughs, looking a little embarrassed. I'm colorblind, and the contrast between a lot of the colors here aren't necessarily the best.
Yeah, Camille winces a little, like, oh, yeah, yeah, I can see why that would be a problem.
Yeah, everything's so, I'm guessing colorful. That's what people have told me.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just nice because, books don't usually, at least the ones that I read, like they had pictures, but there's usually good contrast. But I liked reading a lot of the chapter books. Um, it was really nice. Nama would read them with me. He smiles. Um, but yeah, the I don't know how you said it, the Sherlock Holmes XPs.
Herlock Sholmes.
Herlock Sholmes. Yeah, I've read all of those books. And then he smiles like he knows something. I'm guessing that those are the kind of things that you deal with,
Oh,
if they're your favorite.
what do you mean?
Lore sighs, and he's like, well, most people tend to do the things that they read when they're kids.
I mean, maybe so, but I am still just a kid.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I am kind of putting you in the hot seat, so I'll ease up a bit. It's just kind of nice to talk to somebody in general. I've been wandering around for he like again looks off into the distance, but kind of shades his eyes so that he doesn't mess with you. Uh, I've been wandering around a while.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, I've dealt with more awkward people.
Good to know I'm awkward, he smiles.
Well, you might be awkward, but you at least aren't getting us kicked out of this cafe for trying to use magic indoors.
I can't even use magic, you're fine. He laughs at that. No, I literally can't use magic at all. I remember, oh, Shoal tried to teach me once, but I did not do well.
Camille nods like, yeah, magic can be a bit difficult.
Can you use magic? Is that how you do your investigations?
Well, I, yeah, uh, as a tool for investigations. Uh,
I mean,
And
don't
you
get me
can
wrong,
roll
I
insight on that.
Laura's just kind of being like, insight or investigation.
I both if you want another chance at seeing through the disguise.
Yeah, I'm just like, my investigation's just a little bit better, hopefully. Yeah, no. He just kind of shrugs casually and is like, yeah, oh shoot, what did you say exactly?
He said that he uses magic as a tool. Um,
Okay. Yeah, Laura's just gonna smile and be like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that you're really good at, like, he taps his head, using your head too.
yeah,
I
uh,
mean, especially considering what you've already figured out about me. Laura
uh,
smiles.
yeah, he nods at that, like, uh, yeah, magic doesn't solve everything. Uh,
Yeah. No, trust me, I know. And roll anything you like perception, investigation, or insight.
all the same modifier.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, yeah, you get the idea that Laura is very familiar with at least how some magic works.
hmm
Like, personally is aware.
Yeah,
Probably in a negative way.
hmm, uh, Camille is going to, he's gonna question that a bit.
Hmm. Does he legit, like, what does he say? Does he say anything?
He Camille's going to he's probably gonna go like, have you had a personal experience of magic?
Laura stretches over the table and looks like just face down, arms out, like, yeah, you could say that. Definitely could say that. Like, he looks really just tired and done.
Does it have something to do with your eyes?
Well, yeah, but also with the fact that I'm in, you said Einquell?
Yes, that is the continent.
Yeah, I don't think I'm from this continent.
No, if you were, you would know what tunes are a little bit better.
Well, you think so. You think so. He, like, laughs airily and closes his eyes and, like, leans back on his hand, and he looks at you kind of with a really tired look that says that he, you know, definitely, like, looks more aged than 18. Uh, I I don't just have the eye thing, I have a legitimate curse to be lost.
That would explain why you were staring at the wall for the better part of an hour.
Yeah, it kind of messes with any kind of map I look at too. He looks really tired.
You think someone else could help you with that?
Well, when Avi kind of helped me, he they mm, we had a lot of he looks like he's fumbling for the words of how to explain the severity. We growing up, we had some people try to help, but it never really worked out. They could use magic too, and they tried all sorts of spells to try to remove it, and none of them worked. It's one of the reasons I've never left home, because as I got older, it just got worse, and he just sighs.
Uh, Camille nods at that. Uh, like, yeah, I can feel.
Being lost or never leaving home?
Uh, well, I'm not cursed per se, but I know how it feels to have a certain thing keep happening to you and then no one really being able to do anything about it.
Laura kind of looks concerned, but also like in a kind of like not judging or anything way, more of like, oh, Laura just like, is it okay if I know?
Camille, uh, just gives a little sigh like, I'm a homicide detective, and
Oh, okay.
I have a habit of running into murders.
Oh, Laura looks like sympathetic. That would suck.
Camille just shrugs like, well, I'm used to it and there's not really any helping it, so
Well, at least you chose a career where you were able to maybe use it as a gift.
yeah, it
Oh, I hope
does.
you stay safe.
No, don't worry. I'm usually
Hmm,
safe.
do I look like somebody who doesn't worry?
Most people who I've met have the tendency to, but it's worth a shot.
I mean, don't worry, I'm not gonna like kidnap you or anything. I'm just you're 6. I'm gonna be a healthy amount concerned. I think you should be more worried if someone didn't worry.
Uh, wonderful choice of words there, Lore. uh, yeah, Camille's just like, yeah, I would prefer that not to happen, but, well,
Yeah, probably one of those murderers you meet. He smiles and kind of leans back in his seat.
uh, Camille snorts at that, um, but is just like, well, now that you know a bit about me,
That's right. We do have that deal. You're allowed to pre-order that coffee.
I think if I did that, I'd know of someone who would get on my case.
Mm, you do seem to know about cases.
That I do.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably going to be stuck here for a while, so I mean, if you find me, I mean, I'll grab you a coffee. Laura smiles.
uh, there is a certain red-headed barista in the background who may or may not be giving Laura death glare.
Laura smiles and waves and leans on his hand kind of cheekily, like, what are you gonna do about it?
uh,
Like, I'm sure there's other places to get coffee, sir. Kind of gives Camille a wink, like, I got you.
he was just like, oh, you, uh,
I mean, at this point, if you're dealing with murders, the least I can do is grab you a coffee.
that, that is fair. Uh, probably
More than
not.
fair. I don't know how to deal with murderers. Somebody's got to do it, and it might as well be somebody who's competent, right?
Camille does let out a surprised little laugh because it's not every day you hear someone call a 6-year-old competent.
Laura's not everyday person. Yeah. He kind
Uh,
of sees that little bit of shock. I'm hoping there you're okay with that. I can
uh,
roll if you want.
yeah, no, it's fine. You can definitely see it.
The lawyer kind of smiles and leans forward again. He's like, "Look, I have a 5-year-old little sister. Her name is Kettle. Don't. It's you can ask why, but it's fine." He kind of laughs. Uh, she is more competent than I think anybody ever expected. I mean, she is. He kind of sighs, knowing he's about to tell more information about himself, and he's like, she's part gnome, and so she's very good at getting into trouble, especially when Pops is working on the presses, and you'd be surprised how good she is as a 5-year-old trying to fix a giant machine like that. Honestly, I feel like she's gonna do better than Pops.
Oh, is she an artificer?
No idea. I she is just really good at that sort of thing. I know that Nami is working with her. And is so is Mom. I've been gone for a while though, so I don't know how her progress is going.
That is, that's fair. I
Oh, though she did make me this, and he like takes off his backpack and ruffles through it for a minute and kind of like looks concerned and then like sighs in relief as he pulls out like this tiny little geared bird and he kind of twists it and it kind of like hops around and makes some tweet noises.
oh,
She calls
Camille.
it her Tweety. She
Oh,
gave it to me for my birthday. He just like looks at it like so affectionately before like taking it and handing it to you.
yeah. Camille's actually going to be um sort of investigating it a little bit because he is actually an artificer.
Oh,
uh,
nice.
yeah, he's
Roll
a
for investigation, I guess.
uh he did not roll. I guess it was time for him to get bullied.
11. You, for the life of you, have not seen anything like this before. Like, you can tell that it's good construction and whatever, but like, for how small it is, like, it's smaller than your hands. You're not sure how they got all the mechanisms for it to do what it's doing and the complexity of what it's doing. Because, like, as it moves and hops around, it looks like a real bird. It even flaps.
Yeah, Camille very gently puts it down like that's amazingly good craftsmanship for a 5-year-old.
Ex exactly. I don't think I could ever in my life make anything like that, and she did it in an afternoon, like, she stole some of the parts from our presses, that was not great, so Pops wasn't too happy about that, but overall, he congratulated her, and uh, I'm just really touched that she gave it to me. He takes it back and, like, kind of hugs it and puts it back in his backpack carefully.
She seems like a real prodigy. I mean, even when I
I
tinker
hope
with
so.
stuff, it takes a good bit of time.
Do you Are you an artificer? You seem to ask, so
Oh, a little bit.
that's amazing.
Thank you. I have some trouble using magic on my own, so
I
I
mean, I
use
can't use it
guests.
at all. So the fact that you can use it at all is pretty impressive.
uh,
I mean, I don't know about Toontown, but I know a lot of people where I'm from who just can't use magic.
my Toontown?
Or I guess, is this Toontown? I don't know where I am. He kind of laughs and rubs the back of his head.
Toontown is, um, that's all the way across the continent. This is
Oh my
Villestown.
gosh. He like looks really confused at how he got here and the amount of time that he did.
You might have wandered into a teleport station at some point.
I I actually know for a fact that I didn't. Ugh, he looks even more tired.
It, yeah, that I think maybe that might have been.
Probably the curse. Uh, I mean, considering that I'm not from this continent and on my birthday I just kind of woke up here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably it. Uh, I imagine that I don't know how much it affects real kind, but it might also be a little bit of the roll funny.
Oh, what's the rule of funny? He looks really confused, like he's never heard of that.
Okay. So, the rule of funny is basically uh that the laws that we usually like the laws of the world, not physical, not like the laws that people make. Those can be bent and sometimes broken as long as it's funny.
He looks really confused for a minute and then like you're kind of surprised to see him like grab his chin a little bit and like look down in a very similar way to like maybe you would if you were thinking like really hard about connecting dots or investigation or whatever. And he's like, how does that even work with physics? Does that mean he like looks up and he's like, does that mean this entire continent works differently?
Um, well, in my experience, it seems to. Uh,
Oh, have you been to other continents?
Camille kind of just uh stops like, well, I assume I know a lot of real kind, and they say that Anquel's pretty different, and that's ish. Not
I
even your
mean,
modifier can save you now, boy.
is he lying or what?
He is lying. Uh,
You know it's okay if you've traveled to other continents, like, I'm not gonna do anything about that, like, I mean, I think it's really cool. I mean, until he laughs, until about, let's see, he counts on his fingers, a couple weeks ago, I still lived at home and never left Ordinal Point.
Camille nods at that, and just, well, I suppose that's fair. You
I mean, why am I gonna get upset with you for going to continents when I just found out you're a homicide detective? Like, that feels like really dumb. Lore laughs really openly.
uh, yeah, Camille, he is a little bit awkward. He's not used to a stranger seeing through him just that much.
He has siblings.
Yeah, he's
You make me think of Des. Sorry, that's little sibling. He gets so awkward when people just try to be nice.
well, uh, he just gives a little shrug, like there's
Mm, Lore kind of smiles. Do you not have a lot of normal conversations outside of homicide?
I have normal conversations.
Is it about trying to get coffee from adults?
That is something that gets touched on, but we do talk about things outside of that.
Is it other investigations?
Not always.
What kind of things do you like to talk about? It's not accusing or anything the way he said it, just like generally like, oh, what do you like to talk about?
Well, I mean, usually I guess I'd like to talk about books uh or I guess I like to hear about other people's interests too.
Oh, well, he laughs. You
He's
did
not
ask if
going to mention the Rangers just yet. He's not emotionally ready for that.
Laura has no idea what that is, and neither do I, so you're fine. Laura kind of laughs and then, like, gets really excited, and he's like, "Oh, the professor! Yeah, you wanted me to know how I legit, I got kidnapped by his ship. Like, the box apparently is a ship? I don't know if you knew this, but he's an alien?
Oh, yeah,
Apparently there's aliens." He looks so excited.
he told me about that when we met. Uh,
Yeah, he's surprisingly open about it despite, like, looking like it's a secret.
well, for me, it's more that uh, he saw some stuff about me, so told, I found out some stuff about him. Uh,
Yeah, I think he would have been more perceptive about me if he wasn't. Laura looks almost traumatized. Uh, I met him in a not very good spot.
oh,
He was injured from a battle or something with someone from his past, and he laughs awkwardly. I okay, like he looks like he's like focusing really quick, and he like puts his hands down and like really thinks he's like, okay, there was this old lady who told me to check on him. I forgot to ask her name, and I also forgot to ask who I was checking on. I went into the box, the door was open. The fire girl pulled a gun on me and I couldn't get out, and then the goat man said that I was a protagonist and then just grabbed me and we went into the professor's room, and for whatever reason when we tried to check on him we ended up in his head and there was all these memories, and I don't know, it was a really interesting introduction to this place.
Camille takes a moment to process that. Uh,
You can tell that this is one of the big things that has been bugging him that he has not been able to talk about.
yeah, he takes a moment to process that, nods, and is just like, okay, well, since I know some things about the professor already, do you want to talk about it?
Well, a little bit, but I am a firm believer that the things I saw, I shouldn't necessarily, they're really personal to him, but essentially he had a bunch of conflicting memories and we had to help him sort them out because they were hurting him, like literally hurting him. And so we were able to figure it out, but he kind of trails off and then shakes his head. We got out of his head okay. But what I really wanted to say, and he looks happy again, just kind of like apologetic that he ranted. The professor has apparently multiple libraries? And can you imagine what an alien would have? Like, he's been to different worlds.
uh, Camille blinks at the sudden topic shift because, okay, uh, yeah, that's a very fast pace of conversation before he just gives you a little smile and nods like, yeah, that uh, yeah, there must be so many types of stories and histories there.
Yeah, but what I really wanted to say, like, he looks so excited to tell you this. Like, oh, you like books. I don't meet a lot of people who are into books. And he's like, what I wanted to say is that I asked the professor if it was ever okay to come back and look through his library, and he said yes. I don't know how I'd ever find him again. Maybe you could help me with that. Like, you're a detective, right? But maybe you can come with me and we could check out the books together. He looks so hopeful.
Camille smiles and nods at that, like, sure. I haven't actually been inside there yet, so if
Oh,
the
it's
prof-
really cool.
if Professor
You would love it, especially if you're an artificer. Like, he has all sorts of cool. I didn't get a good look at it at the time because it was a bit of a stressful situation, but he's got this cool console and there's all these gadgets, and I don't know if he is down for this, but I'm sure he'd love to talk about it to maybe to an extent. I don't know. I think you would like it.
Camille smiles and nods at that because yeah, that does sound like a lot of fun. He
He also
just
apparently has a pool in his box somewhere, and
uh,
I would like to figure that out. Like, I don't know what kind of rooms he has, but
A
He
pool?
calls the machine the ellipsis. Yeah, like a swimming pool. Like Laura looks so baffled.
Uh,
He
huh.
doesn't necessarily look like a swimmer either, so I don't know why he has it.
I I guess some not ever. Hmm.
Right? Oh, maybe you could help me figure it out, because I'm not necessarily the most perceptive.
Yeah, Camille is more thrown by the fact that it's a pool rather than like all of this fitting into one little box. Cause he's a toon. There's such he's used to that as a concept, even if Professor is reelkind. But yeah, he's just like, yeah, that sure seems like something to figure out.
Yeah, don't. You seem really hesitant. I know I can be a lot, but like,
Oh,
how many friends do you have to just hang out with
I have
without
I've got a few
just
people I can hang out with.
hang
I'm
out with where you just do fun things that you like to do with someone, or do you just do what they do?
well, this is me pausing. Cause yeah. Camille seems to kind of pause for a moment before there's like we can do we do stuff that I like too. I I I'm shaking him around like please give me words because
Here, maybe I can help. Lord looks really relieved that you do things that you like to do as well, and he smiles and he's like, I'm just glad that somebody who's your age is doing more than just hyper focusing on murders.
no, yeah, there's a few other things I do too. Like hang around with um I hang around with because part of this is also just the fact that he's really, really bad about like he likes to be vague when he's talking about other people of strangers. So he because there are some people I can mention by name, but the question is if Camille would.
Oh, yeah, no, and Lord would understand not wanting to, like, share certain confidentiality with strangers. The main reason he geeked out about the professor is because, Camille said that he knew him.
Yeah. Um. So after that, he kind of shakes himself off a little bit, like, well, we have to see if the professor is okay with it first, of course.
I
Um,
mean, I don't wanna blackmail him, but he did promise me, and he did say we were friends.
that is
And
fair.
that is something I am not gonna forget because I want those books. Like, he looks so passionate and determined. He's like, "I don't have to keep them, I just really wanna look at them."
That is fair.
Like,
I like to
he
look at
looks
them too.
half starry-eyed and starts, like, geeking out about, like, "Can you imagine, like, what kind of bindings do they use? Are there different bindings? Like, are the books, like, in a different format? Like, what kind" like, he's just, like, geeking out about printing and whatnot, like, "Oh, can you imagine if they, like what if are they hand-bound? Do they have different kinds of leather? Like, are they old tomes or, like oh my gosh, oh, and the languages!" Like, he's just so excited.
Yeah, Camille is. He's got a little smile on his face as he sips his drink and lets Laura info. It's Laura's turn for the info dump.
Oh, yeah, I some fun facts. My mom is actually a cartographer and my dad's actually a printer, so I know a lot.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, "Oh, can you imagine if it's vellum or a gloss? Is it embossed? Oh my gosh, could oh." He looks so seriously at you. "Can you imagine? What if there's, like, entire encyclopedias of other worlds?" Like, he's so excited.
Uh, yeah, Camille grins at that because yeah, that would be really cool to see. Also,
Lord looks so happy that he's smiling, like he has never met anybody outside maybe his immediate family who's like willing to talk about books or let him talk about books.
yeah, like, listen, Camille, he is also an info dumper, so he knows, uh, he likes when other people info dump. You, Laura, you noticed he actually, has been writing in his notebook again.
Lord looks much more enthusiastic about this because somebody is actively paying attention to what he's saying, and he feels really good about it.
They are
And
friends now.
they are friends now, and he actually like looks really giddy, and he's like, "I don't want to interrupt your notes because like I know I'm talking fast, but it looks like you know shorthand, so that's fine. But does this mean we're friends?" And he looks really happy.
Camille pauses at that, and, he he gives you a little smile like, well, I don't know if you'd want to be friends with me. I mean,
Why? Laura's like, "Shut up! Why would I want?" Like he's literally flabbergasted at why you would even say that. Like it does not comprehend in his mind. Like, why wouldn't I want to be friends with you?
like, I mean, we just met, and
I
I
mean,
am a
isn't that how
kid.
people make friends? Is meeting them. And why would I care that you're a kid? I mean, I have 6 siblings, and I'm the oldest kid in my town by a significant amount. I mean, he like looks off, is thinking for a minute of like he's like, I mean, there's a few families. There's the Bonehearts, the Baylors, the Elswers, the Kellers, the Flat Oaks, the Starklows, and he's like counting on his hand. There's Junie, Marcus, Shelley, Matthew, Martin, Kelsey, Kelly, May, Aspen, Michael, Petra, Jordan. Like he's counting on he's like 15 or no 14 kids outside of my family, and they're all my friends.
Camille just nods at that. Uh, why don't you do an insight?
I'm not nervous at all. I already typed it wrong. I am good at this. Woohoo. Boom.
I'm I'm looking away from
It's
that. Why don't you why don't you do it with advantage?
okay. I'm like,
Just
Lore is still he is using backstory for advantage here. There we go.
fair. Yeah. With a 17, like he's not saying that you can't be friends for. It's not that he doesn't like you. It's also not. You can tell that the reasons he's bringing up are pretty much just excuses. 'Cause there is something that uh makes him a bit hesitant to say that.
Lore just looks at him so unimpressed and raises an eyebrow, this time definitely judgmental, stands up from the booth, goes onto his side of the booth, picks him up, slides him over so that he's like on the outside of the booth and Laura's on the inside, and then just hugs him. Like, you're really stupid. If I can be friends with the professor after going inside his head and seeing a whole bunch of trauma, I don't understand why you are so hesitant to be my friend. Because he pulls away. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm kind of an idiot despite myself, so like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be harmless to you.
uh Camille, give him a moment to blue screen. Yeah,
Laura
he
like waves a hand in front of his eyes as it like glitches. And he's like, oh shoot, did I break the child?
cuz yeah, that was
Lord looks more concerned, like, oh shoot, did I legit break the child?
after a moment he does manage to get back to the he does manage to get back to the present, and he's just like, well, it's not that I'm worried about.
Then what
Um,
is it? Lord looks like really concerned again. And you see that because he's close to you, you see that he's actually a really affectionate guy and he like places a careful hand on your shoulder and you get in this moment like the big brother vibes.
oh no, it's happening again. Um,
I have no context for that. It
he
makes it so much more funny.
he is actively trying to not be adopted, but so many people just
Oh, he's
adopt.
already adopted.
Yeah, like,
He literally compared you to his little sister.
listen, Camille's a bit of a dumbass when it comes to that. Like,
Oh, Lord will help.
there's like a point at Camille's relationship with Izumi. Like, they are so very stupid. They still call each other coworkers, even though, like,
I remember
for
you saying that.
yeah,
I'm gonna laugh if like we ever do an FPS where Horizumi meets this idiot.
because man, they're just very stupid.
Speaking of Avi, I'm looking at you.
uh, yeah, Camille's just like
Sorry, in the chat, Avi feels called out.
just a little bit. It's fine. Um,
Uh,
yeah, Camille's just he just sighs like there's I'm
as you talk, Laura legitimately is like mumbling, like grabbing the coffee and being like, "Oh my gosh, is this breaking him? Do I not need to give him coffee? Like, oh my god, like, did I hurt the baby? Like, oh my gosh!" And then you start talking, he's like, "Oh," and sets the coffee back down and like looks at you with relief, like, "Okay, you're not dead."
yeah, like
Because he does not know how tunes work, and he's like, "Did I do something?"
oh Lord beloved. Um, it's just like I don't really want to form deep connections with people.
Oh, shut up. Lord just like rolls his eye, like that is the stupidest thing he's ever heard. Like, why would you even? Ugh, that is. I don't normally swear, but that is the most asinine, dumbass thing I've ever heard. Like, he just like looks so unimpressed. Like, you have never seen so far talking to Lore him have this body language of just almost disgust at that sentence. Like, you,
God, he's just getting called out.
yeah, Lore is just not having it. Like, basically, F you, child. Like, I dare you to stop me from having a deep emotional connection with you because too late.
Camille's just
Lore's
like,
just like,
look,
look,
there's.
Camille, right? No, just shush, 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 shush. Like, he literally puts a finger on your lips. Again, you're old enough that I can say this. Shut the fuck up. And
He's
just accept that this is going to happen.
just.
You already know a lot about me, and I know enough about you that this might as well just be a thing. I already compared you to my family on multiple occasions, and I am not gonna. He looks really sad for a second and drops his hand. I'm not gonna lose that after I can't even go home.
Feels. He slumps a little bit. Like, then you really don't want to get involved with me. There's already.
Oh, rolls his eyes again. Like, what? Okay, even if something bad happens, I don't really freaking care. The worst that could happen is like, I know these are your fears. I could die. I could get hurt. I could, like, you would feel guilty. But, like, at the same time, if you don't have emotional connections, then that's just gonna hurt you more in the long run. You're 6, and you're telling me you want to be some sort of loner or hermit or something, and not making emotional connect. Like, that is just so stupid. I thought you were smarter than that.
Feel just. I was like, listen, there's already too many people who are
Oh my God. Okay. No, 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 no. Laura's just like, no, 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 no. Like literally picks you up and puts you on his lap. Like, no, no, just like covers your ears, covers his ears again. Like, why are just flabbergasted. Stop making excuses. How often do you have to practice excuses? Do you just give them all the time? Because again, you're a child. You might have more maturity than most children, which I'm definitely going to take advantage of. I'm not going to baby you completely, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to treat you like a freaking kid a little bit. Because how many people actually let you do that?
Camille just is like, he's not giving me any words right now, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
uh,
That's an answer enough for me. Yeah, so as I said before, you get to shut up now and you get to have a coffee. He laughs and like puts his finger up like it's a secret. And if you want, I'll get you another one because at the end of the day, it's it's not gonna kill you and it might not be the best for you, but like just have a damn coffee.
yeah, he's just gonna
Mm.
frown.
Willer's gonna like pat his back and give him another hug, like, okay, you're getting some comfort because you're being way too quiet. He's literally got like a hand on his head and then like another arm around his waist and just giving him a good squeeze. Head kind of against his, like you're getting a big brother hug.
Man, he's just sitting here. Uh, yeah, Camille is, he's not crying, so don't worry about that, but he is,
Oh, if he does, Laura's not gonna like. He's just gonna be like, mm-hmm, yep, let it out.
no, he is upset, but more in the, helpless frustration kind of way.
I can. Laura's just gonna. At this point, I'm just gonna say Big Brother mode. Like, obviously, you're not one to necessarily deal with actually feeling emotions. That is obvious enough from our conversation, so I can see why you might be frustrated. But stop trying to act like an adult all the time and just let yourself be a kid on occasion. Otherwise, hopefully you know enough about psychology that you know that's not going to be good in the long run.
Mm, fun choice of words there.
Boy reads books.
Yeah, no, oh, no,
Oh, I broke the child.
he stiffens when you say that. And,
Oh,
uh,
he's just like eases up on the hug a little bit and kind of like gives him a good squeeze on the shoulders. Like, if it's too much, I'm sorry, but at this time, flip, man, you're 6. And you're doing a lot already. Like, you obviously have enough experience that you've been doing this a while, meaning you started when you were a lot younger. And that's a lot. You've only been on what, this entire world for 6 years? That's a lot. And it's okay to admit that it's a lot. You can still handle it and deal with it, but you can also be honest about that it's a lot.
yeah, Camille's, he,
He
he's
might not
gonna,
be wise, but he has emotional intelligence.
he does, and we love him for it. Camille is going to try and wiggle his way out of Laura's lap right now.
Oh, roll strength save right there. Or like I will contest that with another strength save as my own. Like this is my hopefully I don't roll crappy because I'm like this could be my moment to shine.
I
Because
mean,
I'm
you're up
like
against a
I
kid
got
with -3
oh
strength,
you
so.
don't understand because I really suck at rolling when it counts. So I'm gonna do a strength save because it's
Do
my
you have.
turn to be crazy with this.
Sure.
Um okay, that is a +8. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just barely like he just uses enough strength to be like, no, 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 no. You're gonna have emotions for a second, unless you really need the break, because I don't want to overwhelm you too much, but at the same time, like, as I've said before, he just kind of lets you fill in the blank.
Listen, I myself. I
He wet himself?
No, I can handle myself.
Oh, does he
No.
say that?
Yes, he does say I can handle myself.
Or just like, I'm not saying that you can't. I've never said that you can't handle yourself. I'm just saying that it's okay to handle, handle yourself with others.
Man.
You can start out with me. I'm an idiot. I doubt I'm gonna do any. Let's see. I'm not like a conspiracy waiting to like get you or someone who's trapping you into something or someone who has ulterior motives, though I would love your help trying to figure out why I'm cursed, but if that makes you feel better. But you don't have to think that it's against you or I'm trying to hurt you or trying to get you to do something, except maybe actually take care of yourself in the way that it counts emotionally just a little bit. He like puts his fingers up and kind of like leans forward and like gives you a funny face, like just a little bit, like you're a 6-year-old drinking coffee.
Yeah, this sure is oh boy, this sure is wild with context. Uh
I don't have context and neither does lore.
yeah, boy. Camille, he's is just like I don't need anyone getting involved. It's
Look, I'm not gonna go on your cases with you. I'm just offering to be a good friend. If you want that boundary, I'm gonna respect it, but that doesn't mean that we can't still be close and do things. And I'm gonna show a healthy amount of concern for my friend. But at the end of the day, if there's really something that you don't want me to do, and as long as it's okay, like I'll give you the space. But I am gonna look,
I'm
I like you. Just let me like you.
that's exactly the problem.
And why is it a problem, Camille?
You you already have I don't want to add to your issues.
Oh, buddy, you cannot add to my issues. And even if you do, I think I'd rather deal with other issues at this point, because I've been dealing with these issues for long enough. It'd be nice to have a change of pace.
Okay, wait, sorry, one moment. My dog has decided to choose violence.
It has
Come
awoken.
here. Yeah. He was mad at me because he doesn't yet realize that the door is something that he can open. So he is yelling because he missed me. um,
I'll yell because I miss you.
but yeah, it's just like, it's, it's more like, no matter how this goes, it's not going to end well.
Okay, well then it doesn't end well, and we'll deal with it then, because there's always the chance that it ends better. I'm pretty
There,
sure that you can't see the future. You don't know.
there won't,
Even if you think you know.
there, God, let's make it. Oh no, he is not going to be smart.
Perfect. That's Laura's realm.
Yeah, he's just,
You're in my house now.
yeah, he just rubs his temples like there's not going to be a we, which is a problem.
Well, for that, I mean, Camille, what is the issue? I think I
There's
might surprise you.
there's going to come a day where I have to go. And
Well,
I do
I,
already have enough problems with missing the people that you care about. I'm not going to
where,
make you care about me and then leave.
you don't make me do anything, no offense. You're not some mind manipulator. This is my choice to care. Also, quick question before I continue. And he's very calm and matter of fact. Still holding you, still being very kind and gentle. Where are you going? And even if it's even if you think you're gonna die, I can deal with that. But just
I'm
tell me.
I'm I'm not going to die. But it's and I can't tell you where.
Okay. Is it maybe we can do some context? Is it a different plane?
I'm I I'm not going to tell you and I cannot tell you.
Okay, I'll stop pushing. But I'm gonna assume you can't send letters. But if for any reason you can, I'm fine with being pen pals. And if I never see you again, I'll deal with it then. Um, he thinks for a moment, very calmly but seriously as he closes his eyes and then opens them looking really soft. I have multiple parents. They all love each other, but my biological father disappeared soon after he gestures to his eyes. I got this. Um, there was something wrong with the ink. It was enchanted when it wasn't supposed to be. Um, and I mean, I was young, and we don't know everything, but my father was very angry with them and canceled the contract and disposed properly of the ink. Um, and then he disappeared, not of his own will. and all of our contract and information on customers disappeared with him, and I haven't seen him since. Um, we all miss him very much, but I mean, you saw me, that doesn't stop me from being happy, and if I lose you, I'll deal with my grief and I'll move on. I hope you can trust that I'll do that. I was 6 when he disappeared, I was your age.
Oh, sure that you'd really be fine with that?
Yeah, lots of people come and go, and that's just how life works, Camille. And if you can't deal with it, then I hope you learn how, because otherwise life is gonna hurt a lot. And just because your life is full of tragedies doesn't mean you can't be happy. And I know that's like a stupid optimistic thing, blah, 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 blah. But, fuck everybody who says otherwise, because at least I'm happy. They can be sad if they want to. I don't want to be.
Um, kind of just sighs. But he's not trying to fight back anymore. He just looks tired.
Emotions are tiring. He gives Camille another squeeze and then respectfully lets him have some space because he needs probably to process a little bit. And he's like, "Look, Camille, I know we just met, but like, sometimes that happens and sometimes it's okay just to meet somebody random and suddenly have a friend. And that's okay. And I know you're afraid of having an emotional commitment, but I know it's a lot to say that if you leave, you wouldn't miss me, but at least you will know that I'll be okay. And considering that you cared enough to be concerned about if we had a relationship and you hurting me, that already gives you a lot of empathy for me and sympathy, and I care that you care. Um, that was really kind of you to worry about me, but I'll be okay. And I hope that you can learn to be okay, and I hope that we can still be friends. We got a lot of we got a lot of things in common, and I hope to have fun with you.
Yeah, Camille's um man. He's having a moment. He did not expect to spill this to a random stranger.
Oh, oh no.
I did not expect him to spill this to a random stranger.
He's no longer a random stranger, he is lore.
Yeah. uh, the thing I expected Laura to find out was a different thing.
Oh, well, you never know.
Yeah. This is yeah, he's just like I guess I can't stop you.
No, I'm guessing that would be really tricky considering, no offense, you're like shorter than my leg.
Yeah,
And I'm
I'm
pretty
aware.
sure I haven't broken any laws, so even if you went through like the government route, I think that would be dubious.
I wouldn't be
He
that
smiles.
petty.
I mean, honestly, if I break a law and it's like a legitimate concern, I hope you do the right thing.
As long as you're not hurting people.
I really don't plan to, so, and if I ever do, I really hope you're the one to stop me.
You form attachments really easily, don't you?
Um, yeah, because I don't see why not. I'm never gonna know if I don't try. Hey, it's okay, Camille. It's allowed to be okay.
I just you're really certain. Be fine.
Laura just nods and waits for you to talk.
Again, it's not really like I can stop you.
As previously stated, and I mean, you've tried, so at least you gave it your best effort, right? He gives like a playful little punch of his arm and smiles.
Yeah, Camille does give a little snort at that.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's I'm it's hard to get me to not care. So, I mean, no offense, but if you're really good at investigating, I'm the kind of person who's really good at being like, you're my friend now. So,
Yeah, I can tell that much at least. You don't have to be a detective to see that.
no, you do not. But even if you had to be, guess who you are?
Yeah, I
Also, I'll never stop being impressed that you are a detective. That's amazing, by the way. I just want you to know that. I'm really impressed with you. Also, like, I don't know if you hear this often, but congratulations, good job. You do stuff that even if you have your own reasons and if you think it's selfish, how many people do you know that could do your job the way that you do? I don't know anybody. And from what I hear, I mean, you're not you're not dead or anything, so your success rate probably is pretty good.
uh man, that's where all the Liz save again. Okay. Okay, he's done better. At least yeah. He gives you a little smile and thank you. I guess I he is not good at taking compliments. Yeah, he does give you a little smile, but it's more genuine this time. And
Ah, there's a good smile.
yeah, if I had a nickel for every time someone said "for fuck's sake" at me,
Well, you could probably buy a lot of coffee.
eh,
Mm, I don't have a lot of nickels though, so unless we rob a fountain, but that is dubious. So, maybe no. He just kind of like ponders for a second, like kind of being playful, and then smiles back at you. You seem like you want to say something, and it's okay to say it.
If you're really certain about this, even with knowing how it's going to end, then I guess we can be friends.
Thank you. I really appreciate your friendship. I know it was hard for you to say that, and I really genuinely want to thank you. I'm really excited to be your friend. And if anything, I'm grateful for the heads up. It means that I can enjoy more time with you before you have to go.
Yeah.
And hey, that means someone will remember you, and I'll think of you often. And every time I read a mystery or something like that, I'll remember the good times we had. And I mean, that makes me happy. Laura even starts to tear up a little bit and smiles. It really is okay to remember people who you lost and still be happy. And I hope you can learn that because it will really help. It'll just help. It'll be, it's not easy to learn, but it's definitely worth it. And you're a smart kid. I'm pretty sure there's a lot you can learn. And you got a lot of time to learn it. I mean, if you're already this far in investigation and detective work, I mean, I can't imagine what you could do if you applied yourself to any you can already use magic, even if you need help, like, how many six-year-olds can say that? Like, I feel like you need to give yourself a little bit more credit here. You're kind of not just a prodigy and take the frickin' compliment, first off. I know that you probably worked hard to get there too, and it's not just talent, it's effort.
uh, and Camille just he lumps again, but it's it's
Laura
less
places
frustrated this time.
Yeah, Laura places a gentle shoulder on his back. I mean, a gentle hand on his back, just kind of comfortingly and leaning a little bit forward, letting Camille know that he's still listening and still there and he hasn't left.
Why don't we get out of this cafe? uh
Sorry, what'd you say?
uh
My audio cut out.
yeah, why don't we get out of this cafe? It's a little public.
Yeah, it is a little public for having big emotions. And if you really want, I can pick you up another coffee on the way out. You can at least have something that you like while having big emotions.
And Camille looks over at the barista that you saw before and is just like, um, probably not.
Find the We can go to a store and buy coffee.
It's fine. I still have some left over.
Good, I'm glad.
And Camille's gonna grab his coffee and kind of slide out of the seat. Um,
Lord, before he has much of a chance, just kind of picks him up and puts him on his hip.
uh,
No offense, Camille, but this might be a little faster.
honestly, at this point, I'm used to it.
Well, I'm glad that I'm not the first person to pick you up. Where would you like to go? And this is Katie, but I do have a few more things if we have time.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You're free to take the reins at any point.
Yeah, don't worry, Laura is very much a listener
Mhm.
and emotionally like, okay, I care about you now. Good luck.
Yep. uh, yeah, Camille's kind of just gonna shrug.
Oh, and I should state, this is lore. You are definitely gonna have to give the directions and double check that we're going the right way. Lore laughs.
I don't really have anywhere in particular in mind.
Well,
Do you have anywhere that you want to go?
I don't mean to be you want a private place, and I don't know this place very well. Where are you comfortable, Camille? Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one having the big emotions. I'm having big emotions too, but I am also big.
Uh, kind of just um is kind of like I don't suppose you have a place to stay.
Lord gives a really big sigh. You can even feel his chest expand, and as he exhales and closes his eyes and looks kind of sheepish and looks at you honestly, like, no, no, I don't.
And I don't suppose you can afford an inn.
No. Well, my family kind of expected me to get lost on my birthday, considering the details of the curse, so they made me wear the backpack, he points, and I'm running low on the funds that they were able to give me. It's not like we are rich. We print things.
Alright. I know a place we can go, but
You don't have to worry about me remembering where it is.
yeah, that is true. Uh,
However, I will memorize the address. For whatever reason, I can know addresses but not find them, so I can always write you letters. But I hope to spend physical time with you, because you're pretty great. He kind of gives him a head bonk.
uh, Neil does, um, let out a startled little noise at the head bonk, and,
Sorry, too much? Laura smiles.
oh, you just, uh, the, uh, last, last few people who, uh, got close weren't exactly the most physically affectionate.
Laura looks
As,
so
aside,
sad at that.
aside from, um, my other friend, uh, but
That's good.
he's a bit more of a kid, so you know.
Well, I'm glad you have other friends who are kids. Um, he looks over at the frickin' barista and kind of goes straight-faced and pulls out some coins and leaves them on the table apologetically and starts to carefully head towards the door so they're at least out of the barista's judgment.
Yeah, yeah. At least Leo got a tip.
It's actually a decent little tip. It'd probably be the equivalent of like almost $10.
Yeah.
Laura's like, please don't come after me.
uh, we will have to see what Marzi says about that later. um, yeah. So he's just like, okay, well, we can go to my place and just
Well, it's good to know that you have a place.
that I do. Just I would say don't ask too many questions, but you seem like the
I
type
mean,
who would ask
I'll
questions
ask
anyways.
kind of, yeah. I mean, but if there's something you really don't want to answer, and as long as I don't think you're, no offense, being stupid, I won't pry.
Yeah, Camille nods at that, and let's see. For funnies, I'm gonna have him roll survival at disadvantage because of roll funny.
I love it. Yeah,
That's
there's
one.
a in the chat they said that lore tip's good, and I'm just like, there's a reason why he's going broke.
Yeah. Okay, thank goodness there wasn't a one because that means something else entirely for Camille.
Oh no.
um, Unfortunately, it's gonna take them a bit.
Oh no. Yeah, Lore's curse is a little wobbly.
Just a little
As
bit.
as long as people don't help him try to get back to ordinal point, it usually doesn't get too bad.
Yeah.
Or help him try to get to certain spots. So it should work eventually.
It should work eventually. It's just Camille is half tune, so unfortunately, rule of funny means that sometimes the running gag must continue to run.
Awesome. What kind of happens on their way trying to find Camille's place?
uh,
Because Laura's just kind of gonna laugh and shake his head, being like, "Well, I mean, if you're gonna investigate this introductory course to Lore's curse," then he kind of like laughs funnily, and he's like, "You can see one of the reasons why I am very lost. However, you're not trying to help me get back to Ordinal, so we should find it eventually." He laughs
yeah,
again.
eventually. Let me just. Hmm.
Sorry. Lore laughs and looks very apologetic.
Oh no, it's not your fault. At least it didn't.
Lore's like, I mean, it's not my fault, but I am the catalyst for it.
Well, I mean, I end up around murders a lot, and you can't blame me for those.
No, I cannot unless you have a curse that we don't know about, but I would find that highly unlikely.
No,
Though,
it's
I
not a
mean,
curse. It just happens.
it just happens. But again, if you're gonna be a detective, that's pretty good luck. Though I know it puts you in danger, but
Yeah,
uh, you
it's
don't seem to want to be emotional about that, so.
it's just. I guess it's just the plot, really. But
People keep saying that? What does that mean?
um, I guess it's a little bit like the Toon version of Fate, only much more real.
Man, I wonder if there's like Lord like gets that look on his face of like thinking like I wonder if there's any like peer-reviewed scientific papers on like the difference of like he kind of mumbles off like wondering if that exists and he would really like to read it.
I'm sure that there's something somewhere.
Well, that would be fun to find. Um, you were gonna say a thing. What was it?
Um, I forgot. This is me out of character.
Uh, it's okay if you don't remember. I kind of went off on a spiel. He kind of laughs nervously and apologetically again.
Oh, that's fine. It's why I tend to write most things down.
Yeah, maybe I should get into that habit. He kind of thinks off, and he's like, looks around. He's like, "Do you know where we are and how to get you home?"
Let's see. Oh, It's gonna take them a while still, but that is over 10. So they do
All
get
right.
there eventually.
They do get there eventually, and Laura like helps them get inside. Is it like an apartment or
Yeah, it's like an apartment.
okay? Let me roll. I can do perception or investigation to kind of get like a first feel of his apartment.
Yeah, either or.
Okay. Do 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 do. Elevator music. It's an 8. Oh gosh.
It looks like your fairly standard apartment.
Cool.
Like,
Laura proceeds.
yeah. You enter it and like there's a little common area with a kitchenette and a hallway that presumably leads down to like the bedrooms and such.
Laura kind of nods and be like, "Nice apartment, kid." I think this
Uh,
is bigger than a lot of my house.
Thanks. Uh, my guardian kind of has a good bit laying around.
So you do definitely have a guardian. Good.
Yeah,
Laura
that I do.
smiles, just like wanting them to make sure they're okay, because still a kid. Laura kind of closes the door and locks it because he figures that's probably good for a detective to have.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
carefully sets Camille down and kind of puts his hands on his hips, smiling, and is like, "Well, we can keep talking. I would like to. Would would you like to? It's your place. Where'd you like to go?"
Guess the couch.
Yeah, okay. Laura kind of walks over and stops for a second, like, "Is there a specific place on the couch you like?" I Tefra always he smiles. That's one of my siblings. They they're very specific about where they sit on the couch. He kind of, like, jokingly looks very serious, but, like, you can tell, like, there's probably been drama.
Yeah. Camille just snorts and shakes his head like, "No, I'm not that particular."
Okay. Laura kinda takes the far corner of the couch and really looks like he's hoping Camille joins of his own free will.
Camille does climb onto the couch. He's like a respectable amount of distance away from Lore, like not avoiding, but also not like close.
Laura gets it, and then he looks like he suddenly remembers something. He's like, "Oh, I forgot to ask if I need to take off my shoes. Like, what do you have house rules?"
Uh, y- yeah. Uh, that would be good.
Laura
Uh,
quickly takes his shoes off and runs them back to the door and sets them down carefully and sees if he like tracked anything in, and when he hasn't, he's like, "Whew," and like goes to sit back down. Like, "Oh, I can't believe I forgot my manners," kind of look.
you, I hold Lore so very gentle. Uh, yeah,
He was
Camille,
raised well.
yeah, Camille kind
Laura
of
kind
just,
of looks back at Camille like, "Is it okay if I cross my legs on the couch?" Or,
um, sure.
"Cool, it's just more comfortable when you're tall."
uh, Camille snorts at that, but is smart enough not to say anything as he
Laura
sinks
like
into the couch himself.
Laura laughs with him and he's like, "Yeah, I know it's kind of ridiculous. I don't remember how tall my dad was, but apparently he was pretty tall."
Yeah, I, as you can see, I am not.
I mean, you're about average for a lot of the tunes I see. So I mean, you're also 6, so like careful on the coffee and you'll probably be fine.
The whole thing about coffee stunting growth is just folklore.
Well, that's good to know.
So, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I don't want to pry too much, but since we're in the privacy of your home, you can tell me. You seemed like you wanted to tell me something kind of important, but we can build up to that again if you want. And at the end of the day, I'm not gonna make you.
Um, I,
Um,
no, I, uh, kind of have it all. I, like I said, I've,
what do you say? Sorry.
he's just like, you kind of have it all. Like I said, I've probably already spilled a bit too much.
I won't tell anybody, so you're good. Uh, I don't know what is appropriate for you in your friendships or your line of work or anything, but if you need to disclose that you accidentally let something slip to somebody, you're allowed to say it was me, and I'll deal with whatever consequences. I don't want you to have to deal with trouble more than necessary. So if there's something I gotta do to make up for getting you to spill, I'll do it. Don't worry.
You should be fine. I'm just,
Mhm.
um, not really willing to say anything more on that subject.
And that's okay. You don't have to. You're allowed to ask me questions. I know we just met, and you were curious about a couple things. He smiles. Um, so I'd rather you be more comfortable with me, as at this point, I don't really have anything to hide. So, I mean, if you have questions, I'll tell you.
Yeah, Camille,
You seem really you seem really curious. So,
uh, Camille kind of nods at that, like, well, it comes with being a detective. Our job is to be curious and, help people. And you said that you wanted help with your curse, so
I mean, at the end of the day, yes, but also it's fine. Um, hmm, but I mean, it probably would be good to have some help, but I have literally no leads, so eh,
well, I
um,
do have quite a few detective connections, so
mm, that's cool.
maybe
Um,
we can maybe we can dig up a lead.
yeah. So you rolled really well earlier for something, but do you want to roll either perception or investigation or insight again?
Yeah, all the same modify.
Yeah, I know.
uh, horrible child, really.
Oh, only a 20. Okay.
Yeah, only a 20
Hmm.
this time.
You can have advantage because you
Okay.
got the roll earlier.
Oh.
Oh no, is it worse?
Um, in a way, it's a nat 20.
Ah, no, that's good. So you're able to kind of glean from lore. You remember the whole thing with, he said that his family works in printing, and there was an incident with enchanted ink, apparently. And you remember that detail about Sammy? And how much do you know about Sammy?
Um, he he knows that Sammy has a tendency to get kidnapped. That's for sure. Um, he his last interaction with Sammy was a bit more business oriented because of the kidnapping thing. Um, he
Well,
doesn't
you
really have any.
definitely,
Yeah,
yeah,
he.
you definitely know that there might be a connection.
Mhm. Yeah, he doesn't really know Sammy's backstory, I don't think.
I doubt it.
Yeah, no, he
Hey,
knows that Sammy has
here.
a brother and he knows both of the brothers' identities, so
Nice.
yeah, he's kind of got a scattershot of information right now.
I can check with Mir if you want to see if Camille knows anything else.
Sure.
During the FPS that I met, Camille and Sammy stumbled upon some.
All right, there was
Yeah, there was remnants of Sinclair's trading network.
yeah.
And if he was able to sneak past Moria, he probably knows some more of the details. Yeah, so if you were able to sneak past Moria or whatever her name is, you probably know more of the details. So you realize that, hey, there's maybe a lead there.
Yeah, he's going to casually, well, not so casually. He did pull out his
Yeah, that's a
notebook to
30.
take notes.
You also very clearly get the feeling that Lore has absolutely no idea about any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. He's just writing that down, making a mental note. But he's probably not gonna mention anything to Lore because that is
Yep, that
very
is.
personal information.
Yeah, that's fine. Lore's just gonna be like, huh, making more notes and be like, okay, cool. Don't worry, I'm not suspicious. I just like, huh. Uh, Lore kind of thinks for a minute and tries to think about basically he's trying to figure out what to do to like know let Camille know he has been serious about everything he said. And so as you see him thinking, you see him take off his backpack again and ruffle through it. And he pulls out that little bird again and he's like, okay, I don't want you to get weird about this, but I want you to have it. You
You,
didn't really know how it worked, and you're welcome to take it apart or anything. I'm not gonna be mad about it. She's Kettle's gonna make plenty more. He laughs very fondly. And I think you would have fun with it. So yeah,
but
have a present.
isn't that something important to you? Like, you were
I
getting
mean,
to it on your birthday. You,
yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna be able to keep everything forever. We've already been over that. He smiles.
yeah, but don't you want it as a reminder? Isn't it?
I already He pulls out letters. He's like, I got plenty of reminders. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. He smiles genuinely. And you know that he means it.
God, Camille's weakness, genuine kindness.
That is literally Lore's entire personality.
Yeah, why do you think Camille has been just so bullied and called out this whole FPS? Uh, yeah, so he very gently uh takes it. Uh,
Oh, don't worry about it being fragile. I have dropped that thing I don't know how many times on accident. It has not broken.
I suppose that is fair, but
Yeah, I don't know like if she used super glue or like she's Lore looks kind of scared for a minute, like, I am worried about what will happen when she gets older.
I've had people say the same thing about me.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, you do make me think of my siblings, not gonna lie.
I add another coin to the pile.
Oh no. Has that been said before?
Uh, Camille has the startling tendency to remind people of either themselves or other people. Uh, he,
Yeah. He's a
which
good
is
boy.
very funny to me. Um, so yeah,
Laura's smiling so fondly.
Camille kind of just uh starts like, yeah, you did say that, but
Those are good notes.
if you're sure, then I'll keep it.
Please do. And don't don't feel like you have to protect it with your life or anything. If something happens to it, it's honestly it's okay. It's not that I don't care about it, but again, stuff happens, so I'm not gonna get upset about it.
He nods at that, and he is.
I kind of hope you take it apart so that you can learn. Not gonna lie. Uh, you're an artificer, so have fun with it.
Oh, don't worry, there's lots of other things I can take apart first. I'm not gonna
Sounds good.
take apart something I don't know how to put back together.
I mean, if you ever decide to, I can always write a letter to Kettle and see if she has any insights. I don't know why, but when I write letters home, they still make it home, and when they write letters to me, like, for whatever reason, all they have to do is put my name on it, and it ends up somehow finding me. He looks really confused.
Camille nods at that,
Yeah, Lord
and
just kind of shrugs like he's like, I don't know.
it is that is fair. And he is going to tuck the bird into his hammer space.
Laura's gonna look at that again and be like, okay, what is that though?
Oh, it's
When the things just appear and then they disappear, he looks flabbergasted.
well, you know how the ellipsis is big around the inside?
Yes, he looks so worried about what you're gonna say next.
It's a little bit like that. It's
Huh,
from my understanding, a pseudo dimension that that
pseudo-dimension.
toons have access to. I might be using the wrong word when I say pseudo dimension. However, my brain is not good,
Lore
unlike
kind of
Camille. Um,
Lore kind of nods, and so he's just like, so it's kind of like a weird little pocket dimension you have access to as a toon?
yep. Um,
Oh, so
and
you just have like a cool magic pocket.
mhm,
That's
basically, though
awesome.
things do have a tendency to fumble. Uh,
Oh,
since we are,
well, that makes sense that you can't look inside of it.
yeah, we are toons after all, so it's uh, a bit of a gag to try and reach for something and pull out something else entirely.
Well, that's good to know. I am still he looks lost in his expression instead of physically, and is just like, "I'm still learning about tunes, so that's good to know." Yeah, he thinks for a minute, and he's like, "I don't know why I've never learned about tunes before. I don't." He's like, "We have books on almost everything in my family, and honestly, so I don't know if you've ever heard of it, probably not, but our printing press is my last name's Parif. It's a pair of presses, but we're usually responsible for archival quality documents and books, and we even deal with official documentation for things like if somebody needs like something notarized or whatever. he kind of thinks he's like, yeah, so like Abby can do that, and um so can Nami, and he thinks he's like, I think, yeah, he kind of loses his thought for a minute, and he's like, I kind of got away from myself, but the point I was trying to make is that I don't know why I didn't learn about tunes, considering we have so many books on everything.
It is
And so I
odd.
just find that kind of weird.
It is strange.
Yeah, and then of all places I end up here, like the place I know nothing about, I don't. He looks really frustrated.
Mhm. Well,
He like sighs. Also, I haven't been able to find a bookshop for the life of me. Like he's so upset. Like I can't find a library or a bookstore, like anything I'm trying to find with purpose on my own. It's just like, nope. Like he throws his hands up in the air.
well, if you need help finding a library, I know a good one.
Please. He looks so like help.
Yeah, the librarian might be a little bit intimidating, but she's nice, really.
He's just like, oh, well, hopefully I can win her over because I hope to have a good relationship with the librarian. I'm gonna be completely honest, they are so good at finding things.
Yeah, Camille nods at that. He sure does know.
Yeah, and if the library's big enough, I'm worried about getting lost in the aisles, so it would be good to have help.
Hmm. Yeah, that is fair. It can be
Otherwise, I'm
pretty
gonna
easy.
become like the cryptid of the library. Ugh. He sighs again, just like, hmm. Anyway, what do you? He like looks around your apartment and he's like, what do you do here?
uh, well, mostly hmm, I usually read or there is someone who comes to visit every now and then. Though
Are they gonna
usually,
be?
huh?
He's like hesitant for a second. Are they gonna be okay with me being here?
I will
I don't
prob
want to get you in trouble.
I will probably have to give him a heads up.
Okay. He
He's
smiles.
he is a detective. He's
Laura looks a little nervous at that. Like, I keep meeting detectives.
yeah, if you stay here for long enough, you'll probably run into him eventually.
Good to know. Um, I'll see if I can find other places, but he like ruffles through his backpack again and like pulls out um his own like little notebook journal thing and he's like flipping through it for a second and he's like I do have certain qualifications if you ever need help with like he's like looking and he's like indexing I'm good at calligraphy he like kind of looks off and ponders for a second. Yeah, I did a lot of the like he's like counting like how many things he's done as like official calligraphy things, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm pretty confident I could do that. Or I don't know. I'm if you ever need to figure out anything about a book, he's like he stands up and he points at some of your books. Like he's like, do you mind?
uh, uh, sure.
Okay, so I can roll for this, or I can just dump like nerd dump.
Go. Be free. Let yourself be
Cool.
nerd. I don't
So
trust
what
Dice Parser.
yeah, cool. What kind of book do you think he grabs? Like, is it an old book? Like, just basic description of like an interesting book
Let's
from
see.
the outside.
It is probably a pretty well-read murder mystery. That comprises a lot of the books on the shelf, though some others are like uh more encyclopedia type stuff that cover a variety of topics because a detective has to know many, many things. Um,
Lord
there,
pauses and is like, so excited about his collection and is like it's very obvious to Camille that he's already been like, "Oh my gosh, I wanna read all these books." And, sorry, continue, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Um, but yeah, there's also a few things about there's also a few books about medicine and the like. Both for tunes and for real kind.
Laura sees that, and he gets kind of excited, and he picks it up, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool," and he's, like, looking at it and, like, you know, checking it and whatnot, and he's like, "Well, it's a pretty standard book. It's got, like, a d binding that is, pretty par for the course. It isn't, like, hand done or anything. They probably have some sort of binding machine." It is, like, the quires and the reams, it probably he, like, closes it and feels it for a second and, like, looks through it, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, this is probably an older version, and it looks like this is only, the first print." But it does say that, it had multiple prints, and it makes sense given that he, like, closes the the cover and, like, peeks under the dust cover, and he's like, "Yeah, no, this is probably a mass-produced book of some sort." He, like, looks at, like he, like, feels it again, he's like, "Is I think it's 'cause it's, like, maybe tune presses or something, it just feels kind of off." He laughs. But yeah, it's not like vellum or anything, it has some embossing, it has what I he, like, opens the book, looks kinda nervous, and he's like, are the pictures in color?"
Camille hops up to look over, though you are gonna have to bring the book down to him.
Yeah, Laura crouches down and kind of, like, sits down on both of his knees and makes himself Camille's height.
Alright, I'll roll D2 to see if they're in color. They are not. He shakes his head like, no, these are black and white.
He kind of sighs, like, relieved and looks back at it, and he's like, "Yeah, there's kind of a gloss that they had." He, like, looks at the ink closer and he's like, "Huh. I mean, it's pretty standard ink, but, like, I've never seen it quite so dark." And he kinda, like, turns it sideways and he's like, "I wonder if tunes are, like, better at ink or something." Anyway, he, like,
Uh,
shakes his head and he's like, "Huh?" Sorry.
Camille snorts at that, like, well, most tunes are made out of ink, so I would hope we're good at that.
If they're made out of ink?
He nods and is like, yeah, tunes are, uh, a lot of them, are just. Me sweating. Yeah,
Laura kind of sits down cross-legged and he's like, "They're made out of ink, huh?"
and tunes are also kind of inherently magical, which is why we're not always associated with the laws of physics.
That would make sense. I mean, your magical ink, huh? He looks kinda confused and, like, closes the book, and he's like, "I wonder." Hmm. Kinda shakes his head and puts the book back, and he's like, "I mean, there's more I could tell you, but, like, it gets pretty boring after that."
You're so very valid.
Like, Laura legit says that to Camille, like
Camille nods at that, like, well, I'm always down to listen, but it can be another time if you want to.
"Yeah, I'd like to help if I could just 'cause you're letting me stay here, but, like, I get it." He kinda stands up and looks around, he doesn't really know what to do now 'cause, this is the first time he's had, like, a place to stay in like, Anquel, and so he's just, like, rubbing the back of his neck and looking around and, like, looks at the couch and realizes, "Oh, shoot, I might be too tall."
Yeah, Camille's just like a little bit apologetic about that.
He's like, "No, it's fine, I'm just more of," he laughs and he's like, "I don't know what to do with myself, if I'm gonna be completely honest. If you want, I can just kinda hang out with you if you're alright with that." you've had a long day and you kind of just met a stranger who decided to be your friend and he like laughs and he's like gestures to like the room like this happened.
Camille smiles at that, like, you would actually not be the first stranger I've invited over.
Well, that's good to know-ish, maybe? He looks like, "Oh, yeah, I'm talking," and then, "Wait a minute, that sounds suspicious for a six-year-old." And
Well,
he's like, shakes his head like, "It's fine, it's fine, it's fine." Like, he doesn't say it, but he's like, "It's fine."
Camille's just like, well, the last person was, I don't think he would intentionally hurt anyone. He seemed a little bit like a mess, and like he was only 16 and got sick, so
"Oh, was he okay?" Like, Lord looks really concerned.
yeah, he was fine after spending the night.
Okay. Laura looks really relieved, like, "Oh, good, your friend didn't get more injured." Laura just kind of, I'm trying to figure out if you wanna wrap up or something. I don't really know what to
Yeah,
do.
I'm down to wrap up. We have been going for a hot bit.
Yes, I'm so
You're
sorry.
no, you're very valid. Uh, Lore, uh, very much lives up to his name.
That was an accident. I was trying to make a joke because his full name is Lorem, like Lorem Epsom,
Yeah,
and then I'm like, "Oh, crap, what did I do?"
it's it's a fitting name in more ways than one.
Yeah. That was an accident.
Yeah. But yeah, so we can probably close out on them talking. Camille probably at some point brings out like a spare pillow and blanket for Lore.
Laura is very grateful and, immediately eyes the book and just offers if he wants to chill and read. Like, parallel play kind of like, "We can just chill and read books."
Yeah, Camille's fine with that. Why not? This might as well
Alright.
happen.
Yep. Mini book club.
Mini book club. Yeah, so just a cozy little scene to close out. Thank you for joining me, Katie.
You're welcome, thank you for letting me do this and, put your character in the kindness hot seat. Oh,
He needs it. It's going to be really funny in context with a future game coming up.
oh, yeah, I'm hoping to tune in on Sunday because 'cause I'm like, "What did I do?" Like, "Is he
Uh,
okay?" Oh, no. Oh.
yeah, so thank
And when I
you.
say he's okay, I'm talking about Camille, not Lord. Like,
Yeah,
oh shoot.
it's fine.
Ooh.
Thank you. I love Lore so very much. He now has a place to stay.
Yes,
Uh,
house achieved. Yay.
Yay. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Especially those who've stuck on this long.
I know,
And
I'm so sorry.
you're good. And we will see you all later. Bye.
Bye, have a good time zone.